This legendary chess game will feature an interesting chess match between Bobby Fischer against Pal Benko, a Hungarian American chess player. This match was held in Yugoslavia in 1959, with the Sicilian Defense opening. Fischer holds white, while Benko holds black. Okay, let's get straight to the game. White starts with pawn e4 and black advances pawn c5. Knight f3, black knight c6. Pawn d4 invites a pawn exchange, and the invitation accepted. Pawn captures a pawn. The knight catches the pawn, answered black knight f6 threatens the pawn. Knight c3 protects the pawn, black pawn d6. Bishop c4, black queen b6 poses a threat to knight and pawn. The knight avoids threats to e2, black pawn e6. White casts a short castling. Black advances his dark bishop to e7 as a short castling preparation. White bright bishop b3 closes the black queen's threat to pawn. Black short castling. King h1 to release the queen's pin to the pawn. Black knight c5. White begins to attack with his dark bishop to g5, threatening the knight. The black queen c5 attacks the bishop. Pawn f4 protects the bishop. Black pawn b5. Judging from this movement, it seems that black is attacking from the white queen's wing. On the other hand, white launches a direct attack on the wings of the black king. It's evidenced by the knight steps to g3, preparing to jump to h5 or f5. Black answered the pawn b4, threatening the knight. The white pawn e5 threatens the pawn and the knight. The pawn catches the pawn, hoping to be captured by the pawn again, which allows the black queen to occupy a strategic square at e5 and supported by the bishop at d7. But white is doing an unexpected move. That is, the bishop catches the knight, a movement that is not a black hope. Black answered with bishop captured by a pawn to keep the dark bishop on standby to occupy d6 square, which is a strategic square supporting the queen if it occupies e5 at any time. But as it turned out, this hope never happened. White stepped the queen swing knight to e4, attacking the queen and pawns. The queen evades d4, invites a swap. White refuses by moving his queen to h5, a square that is comfortable to attack and also threat-free. Black replied with a knight capture the bishop, at the same time threatening the rook. The threat to this rook is ignored, which continues to attack with the queen's move to h6. Black replies with a pawn capturing a pawn at f4. Let's analyze this step. If the pawn is not captured by the black pawn, and the black knight prefers to capture the rook at a1, then there will be no protection for the black king. White knight h5, supporting checkmate by the queen at g7. That's why, knowing the king is threatened, the black pawn captures the white pawn in f4, creating a queen's diagonal line of defense. White knight h5, threatened checkmate by the queen. Black attempts to anticipate this checkmate by moving the pawn to f5. White rook d4, drive out the queen to leave the line of defense, answered with the queen dodging to e5, keeping up the diagonal line of defense to protect the king. But this is where white makes an amazing move. Like Japanese kamikaze troops, knight makes self-sacrifice while checking in f6, as well as checkmate support by the queen in h7. There is no other way, the bishop captures the knight. After one knight makes self-sacrifice, it's the turn of the other knight to make a suicide attack, which is by capturing the bishop, keeping threatening checkmate by the queen on h7. There is no other choice for black but to sacrifice the black queen, catching the knight. The queen captures the queen. Defensive move from black, knight c5, preparing to jump to e4, threatening the queen. But this black move turned out to be too late, and instead became a blunder when the white queen jumped to g5. Check. King dodged to h8. Mercilessly to black, the queen is moving to e7, threatening the knight and the rook, as well as checkmate threats in f8. Avoiding the checkmate, black makes defense by paralleling the rook by moving the bishop to a6 while threatening the white rook. These bishop moves creates the knight to be caught by the queen. Black replied with a final act, bishop captures the rook. And after the bishop was captured by the rook, then black declared resign. Black gave up because in this position, white was superior both in material and position. Therefore, in a legendary level match like theirs, without wasting any more energy, black declared surrender.